Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday morning here. It's Sean Sandilands from Pulse Markets speaking. I'm lucky enough to have Mike Hudson from Mawson Gold, which is looking at spinning out Southern Cross Gold later on next year. We're just looking at raising some money on a Pre IPO. Luckily enough, Mawson's just released some stellar gold results overnight, and we're quite excited by those, which would be great for us in the future. But what I'd like to do is just to get a little bit of an understanding of what Mawson and Southern Cross Gold are doing in the immediate future, and how it can benefit us as investors. And let's see what's going on. Hi, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, thanks, Sean. It's great to be here, and really on almost the inaugural day of Southern Cross Gold, which is, as you mentioned, a spin out from TSX listed Mawson Gold, which is focusing now on its million ounce plus resource up in Finland, and it's an opportunity here to extract some value on the projects that we've got down here in Australia. It's an established team, a team of all finders. We want to do what we've done in Finland again down here. We've got 3 key projects, and we're literally hitting the ground running with drill rigs turning. $6 million spent over the last year. We've got a strategic holding in an ASX company called Nagambi Resources, which is 10% of that company too, which is constructing a processing plant, a gold processing plant within trucking distance of all our projects. So it really is a baked in success story, really, in terms of drill results and working up the resources over the next year, and a team in place.
I tell you what, that's really good to hear. The team in place, I've been watching you for some time now, and we've been very pleased with what you've done in Finland, and we are hoping you can replicate that success here. It is good having a great management team with a proven track record. However, it does help with your location. Now, some of the greatest or most profitable gold mines in the world are next door to your tenement. In walking distance. Can you just elaborate on where you're located geographically and who is around you?
Yeah, it's really a renaissance of the Victorian goldfields, and the Victorian goldfields are a supersonic gold field, but that's been 100 years old. You know, basically built, Melbourne and a lot of Australia and England's expansion during the 1800s was funded by the goldfields here, but people have forgotten about them essentially over the last 100 years. They haven't really been looked at. It was pretty hard to explore here until one key name, Fosterville. Fosterville is now the highest grade gold mine on earth, the 10th largest by producer, so it's quite significant also. And then you have Costerfield, which is the 6th highest grade gold mine on earth. Now these are both within the head. We're in the shadow of the head frame. Literally, one of our tenements abuts both of their licenses, both Fosterville and Costerfields. But it's more importantly the style of gold that has just become the prize, that people are realizing that Victoria isn't just nuggety Bendigo or Ballarat, but can form these uber high grade deposits that are continuous and are very, very economic. So literally, I don't think many people in Melbourne, let alone Australia, know that 2 of the highest grade gold mines are in our backyard here. So the key geological term is epizonal gold. It's very different, never really been looked at commercially, well understood in the academic literature, but it's attracted hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 18 months, of which we've been very much a part of that, and leading to great discoveries, including what we've made, which we can probably move on to shortly.
Okay, that's really exciting. Wow, you're close to some really profitable mines. You've said you've spent $6 million on exploration on these tenements already. Can you just go into what you've found and what's actually there so far?
Yeah, so we've had literally, we started drilling about a year ago. We put 10 kilometers in the ground across 3 projects. The 3 projects are one we own outright, which is called Sunday Creek, which is the key project where we just put the results out overnight in Canada, where we put one of the best holes in Victoria and one of the best holes in my career out. That's 3 meters at 55 grams over a broader zone of about 11.7 meters at over 12 grams gold. So very nice results, and that the result there is also extending, big step out. So we're now seeing it down to about 300 meters depth, and we drill this system over 500 meters. So a project that has multi-hole, is a multi-hole discovery, and one of the best discoveries in Victoria. I think we can claim that without being too arrogant. And then we have another 2 joint venture projects that we're earning or have earned up to 70% in Redcastle and Roo. And they're also epizonal deposits or projects. So in Victoria, there's 9 historic epizonal fields, which includes Fosterville and Costerfield. Of the other 7, we have 3 of them. So we're starting from low-hanging fruit, looking at these historic mines and drilling under and along strike from them, and surprise, surprise, they're working actually very, very, very nicely.
Wow, that's really impressive. With Southern Cross Gold, you're planning on spinning that out onto the ASX early next year. What are your steps prior to listing, considering that you've got these great grades already with so much money having been spent? What can investors see happening over the next 6 months?
Well, it's all hands on deck. Absolutely, we've committed to this spin out of the assets from the Canadian company. We've had an in-principle advice received from the ASX that they see no issues in our listing, and there's always a few more complications when you're dealing with 2 different exchanges, but we've ticked those boxes. We aim to lodge a prospectus by the beginning of March next year, which should see us trading in April, May. Now we're planning on raising some pre-IPO capital now, and that's what you and I have been talking about for a little while, but now the button is just being pushed to start that raise. So we're looking to raise $2 to $2.5 million at a 16-cent price on a 15 million valuation. Remembering we've got about $3 to $3.5 million worth of Ngambie shares and spent over $6 million in the ground and have one of the key discoveries. So it's actually being priced very competitively. We say it's being priced at the lower quartile end on one of the top quartile discoveries, but that's the opportunity, and we want people to benefit through the pathway here. So that $2.5 million will be raised before Christmas and maybe into the early new year, given everyone is thinking maybe a few other things about Christmas cheer at the moment. But that's ongoing, and then we'll look to raise 10 million at the IPO, which will give us a good treasury to keep drilling and bring more rigs rather than just the 1 rig that will keep going during this pre-IPO stage. So we're not stopping the discovery process as we're going through this listing.
So you'll be coming onto the ASX with a really good set of results, which you've already got now.
Yeah, it's like I said at the start, it's pre-baked in success here. So we're not putting a few projects and hoping for success and asking investors to take that risk. This is a de-risked set of assets, and exploration is full of risk and at every level. So I'm not saying that trying to say more than what it is, but it is absolutely 10 kilometers in the ground with one of the best discoveries in the space in one of the best jurisdictions in the world. And we're bringing these assets back from the Canadians back onto the ASX. And there's very few companies operating here with assets on the ASX. It's the Canadians who've taken the advantage here. The Canadians own Fosterville, the Canadians own Costerfield, and a great deal of exploration dollars has been raised into Canadian companies because they've seen the opportunity ahead of us, really. We're asleep at the wheel in one of our great goldfields, so we're bringing it back home.
Well, it's good to see you're on deck and you're making sure it's bringing it back to Australia. Okay, now the pre-IPO raise, we met in Melbourne last week, and I know we've already been talking to some investors. Can you give us a little bit of feedback? Mine's been very positive. How the pre-IPO raise is going? Is there any commitments there? Is there a chairman's list? How's it all progressing? I know you've just opened it, but surely you've been speaking with people.
Yeah, well, we haven't shopped it around, and we're literally just putting the button now, but we do have a very long list from the president's list or the chairman's list. We've got over 3,000 shareholders in Mawson. We've got over 70% institutional support, and people see the opportunity. So it really is not a matter of how we're going to raise it. It's going to who we're going to raise it with, and how we can allocate that sensibly to people who are going to help build the business as we go forward here. So absolutely, we're pricing it competitively with results on the board, and the Pre IPO is priced even more competitively to bring in the right shareholders at this level now.
Just with your exploration timetable, because it's quite clear you'll get this money, and then next year the IPO, as it is so fairly priced, that's got a good chance of succeeding as well. What's the exploration timetable if people investing now can look forward to seeing announcements from the company moving forward?
Well, it's not going to stop. The only hiatus will be once we lodge our prospectus. We can't go and assay more rocks for that 6-week period while we've lodged the prospectus and then finalising the IPO. But outside of that window, and we'll continue drilling, we just won't assay. So you can see the drill rig is now turning at the Roo project. We're drilling under an old open pit there that was one of the most significant epizonal fields in the day that has seen no drilling. There's one drill hole in the 70s and nothing else over the last 100 years. So it's low-hanging fruit. We'll have those results come to the table. We've done a lot of work at the Redcastle project, which is the mine lease extensions of Costerfield. We've got 17 kilometres of mineralized structures there. We put in we put in 15 holes there, and you'll see that all come together in a very coherent story. We've got a very large ground package at Sunday Creek where we've put in 1,200 soil samples, and you'll see that come to the table. The drill rig will move back to Sunday Creek. There's still drill holes in the lab from Sunday Creek before we move to Roo. So there's going to be a continuous news flow and of discovery, and we're not stopping here. We know we've got a tiger by the tail.
Mike, we've just been talking about your drilling results. I see you've got some tables in the background. Can you just go over what's actually sitting there, please?
With pleasure. It's the drill hole we just put out overnight here. So let's go and have a look at that core.
Perfect.
Okay, so what we've got here is the drill core. It comes out circular, but we halve it in the assay lab. So we literally cut it in half, the core, and then the lab crushes it up and analyzes it and gives us the results. So this is the key results here. This is a core of the 11-meter zone. It went 3 meters at over 40 grams gold, or 55 grams gold equivalent, because it's got stibnite, which is a mineral that comes out of some of these deposits, and Costerfield is one of the top 5 producers of stibnite, a critical metal in the world, and it looks like this project has a similar potential. So you can see just the gold grades here, maybe 43 grams, 27 grams, 8 grams, 54 grams, 92 grams, 20 grams, and then we go back to the more normal grades of 2.9, 2 grams here. So you can see just how consistent that grade is through those rocks. It's not just one little nugget of gold. It's a lovely, consistent series of very high grades. So pretty nice stuff. Come up and see it, mate.
Looking forward. And that's not your only drill hole here. There's many more holes like this.
Absolutely. There's I think we've got 800 gram meter intersections now. That's when you times the grade times the width. And Newmont once told me, the largest gold company in the world, when they get 3 of those in one coherent body, they consider it a bona fide discovery. We've got 8, and we've drilled here just for the last year. Now, so you can see that the drill core behind me. This is not one hole. We've got something like 26 holes we've drilled here now, and with those stunning results already. So it really is quite an incredible start.
Congratulations. I'm really impressed. Thank you for showing that. That's fantastic. I think on Friday night, we saw inflation in the US was quite high, and interest rates are looking at going up in the future. So the possibility for the gold price to run from here is quite high. So combined with what you've currently got and what you're drilling and the way you're priced, this could be a really potentially highly sought after IPO and could be a very favourable listing next year. So it's going to be really exciting to watch to see what happens. So I really want to say thanks a lot for your time, Mike. You've covered a lot of questions there. As always, I know you're very accessible. If anyone has any questions, please email me and I'll forward them on to Mike and he'll come back as soon as he can. I'm going out to site on Wednesday, tomorrow, to have a look at the site. So I'll be having a shed looking at those assay results there. So yeah, really looking forward to doing some more research and recommending this transaction to our investors. So I just want to say thanks a lot, Mike, for your time.
Excellent, Sean. We look forward to hosting you and showing you some of the bonanza grades we've got here just behind me.